Hey there, it's Josh, and welcome to the second course in the iOS Beginner's Path for Core Data, Beyond the Basics. If you haven't watched the first video, Core Data Fundamentals, and don't have previous experience with Core Data, I suggest going back and watching that first. Either way, here's a recap of what that course covered. A persistence controller object represents the classes that make up the core data stack. If you use the core data template in Xcode, the template places the persistence controller in the persistence.swift file. You use the core data model editor to define entities that represent the objects in your database. You can also use this editor to define relationships between the entities and define attributes on them. Finally, NSManageObject represents the entities as code. You create instances of those objects in the context, a special scratch space, set their attributes, and when ready, save them to the persistent store. But what about getting data out of the persistent store and displaying it to the user? How do you deal with large amounts of data your app reads in asynchronously? What about saving large files? In this course, you'll learn about all that and more. In this first part, you'll learn about how to retrieve data, filter it, sort it, display it, and more. I can't get started without recognizing two important people. Pasan Pramaratne wrote the last version of this course and was the basis for this update. Also, a major shout out to Gina De La Rosa, who is the technical editor for this course. Please give them both a follow on Twitter, and while you're there, follow me at HokoCoder. With those shout outs complete, let's get started.